Well, it's in the 60s in South Florida, so I guess it's officially Christmas time. Absolutely gorgeous out. So I've been doing a lot of refinishing on the Yukon and cleaning up and stuff like that. So I thought maybe today I would tackle refinishing some wheels for my Acura TL. So my absolute favorite wheels are the Aspecs for the car, assuming you're going with OEM wheels. Basically, I bought the set for a reasonable price, and they look like this. So the story goes, bought them, good price, good tires all around, although completely mismatched. A little skinny too, but that'll allow me to run some cool spacers, so should look all right. So generally speaking, I like to try to preserve the OEM finish, but I mean, someone's already been at these with spray paint and chipping and all sorts of stuff, so I didn't have a lot to lose. So I figured I would document a little bit of the process, maybe do a little time-lapse action. What I'm going to do, it's just a quick and easy fix. They ended up balancing out pretty easily, so I'm going to use them as is for now, and then when the time comes, I'll probably have them stripped down and powder coated properly. But for now, to make them usable, we're going to take this, basically sand, scuff, everything, fill in the curb marks. This one's not too bad. This one I just did. This one I started doing, right? So this one's just been sanded with about, I want to say it was 320. I sanded all the major imperfections. Actually 120. I did the major stuff with 120 because it was curving all the way around. So then I use this putty filler stuff. Where are you? There it is. I use this stuff with my finger. I just fill in a lot of the cracks and stuff like that. It kind of seems to be less of a mess, even though I hate doing it because it's not a precise or clean job. Right? So you do that, then I'll sand that. I'll sand that back down probably with 320, and then do the whole wheel with like 600. And then hit it with primer. If you go to bare metal, I like to go to the etching primer, which is self-etching primer, and then filler and sandable primer, basically high build primer. Hit it, scuff it again a little bit more, wipe it down. Then I hit it with, ended up going with just plain silver, high performance wheel coating. Then I finished off with a engine enamel clear, because I feel like when I had these on my calipers, they actually seemed to not yellow, or even on when I did a white caliper, they didn't absorb the brake dust. So I like this clear coat for it. And the end result is this one, which, if you look closely, there are still imperfections here and there, but overall, when you just see the wheel on the car, looks great. And I did not, I was going to cut the little, there are these plastic inserts that they melt on the back. I was going to cut those off, take the the Acura logo off, and do the center caps the same color, but that's my only frame of reference for the original color, so I don't want to lose that, so I'm going to hang on to it. And I also kind of like the contrast of the center cap being different. All right, let's get to sanding. So I pop the center cap and take off the valve stem. Then I just get into the lug nut holes. You can tell that someone primered or did something, so they look ugly. here's the 120. And basically anywhere that there's like this weird chipping, kind of like smooth it out to try to transition, right? So that it's not as obvious, because silver does kind of show everything. Here it's annoying because you really should strip all the way back, right? There was some kind of a trying to like feather it so that it kind of smoothly transitions, because they must have sprayed clear coat or something on here at some point. And all these little things, especially the curbing on the edges. Be surprised what a little 120 or 80 grit would do. Say you start off with, let's say, that for curbing, right? You just get in there. Well, for some reason, my neighbor's got to talk to their kid right now. I see people's frustration on YouTube. Alright, I guess we'll keep it real. So, you're going to have the noise. So I'll even take a file on these bigger little edges. See? Boom. That's basically gone. And that was a pretty good gouge. Here's another really big one, right? Let's do that. Smooth already. So you don't have to spend a lot of time with your sandpaper doing that. Anything major, like this one has a, I don't know if you can tell, but this little edge, see? Sticks up and over. Bam, smooth. So I forgot how good this is. For some reason they literally had to stop and talk right there. That's great. I mean, this is like high quality production going on here. It should be pretty obvious. See, then you can kind of see where the gouges are. So this is where I would use that spot filler, the glazing putty into these little grooves. Because otherwise you have to remove all that material to get at it. And this kind of just overall smooths, and then the really small stuff will kind of disappear with this. You know what? I thought I should have done this on all the wheels, because even here, see? You can go at it from the side so you don't have this raised little edge. Boom. Not bad. A little bit of filler in there. We will be good. I mean, what do these people do? People just bounce off the curbs? Not too bad. Okay, so like here, chip. You're not gonna use the file on that. That's for sure. You just smooth this down a little bit, and the sanding doesn't really matter. We're gonna lessen how aggressive it is later. But see, you just kind of feather it out. And here, I'll probably end up doing a little bit of filler. So, all right, this is a pretty lengthy process, so I'm gonna get at it. Maybe I'll time lapse for a bit. Okay. So, fast forward. That's the pretty one. That's the pretty one. Got these. I'm gonna throw on the index cards and give them a wipe down. Already wiped those two down. I'm just gonna do primer tonight so that it can cure overnight. The light sanding tomorrow morning just to help with any imperfections, and then I'll do the base clear tomorrow. I'll wipe down a little bit, and then I'll probably hyperlapse because that'd be a pretty long, boring video. So what I like to do, put that IPA on there pretty liberally. I like to start from the center and work my way out. So the alternative to this would have been to clean the wheel, like wash it, which I sometimes do that too, but then you got to deal with drying it, making sure you got no water anywhere. So in a way, see, that's sanding dust, old paint. Start in the middle. Work your way out. Right. So what I like to do also is soak the. This is a white ball. You just soak it up a bit. And drop it between the smoke. There's a lot of stuff that I think gets missed because you can always tell when someone rattle canned a set of wheels and they rushed and didn't prepare. Don't know anybody like that. That the clear fails and it starts flaking off, and then the wheel looks probably worse than it did before. See, there's little pitting here and there. I mean, if you really look closely, you'll see a bunch of stuff that will show in the final finish. But I'll tell you what, I didn't even use a sander on that other wheel. And who knows, maybe I'll go back and do it again because it's not really that difficult to do it, but I can see the sections where I didn't sand with the sand. If I had used a sander to kind of like feather that failed clear coat out, it would have looked a ton better. And to be honest, from 10 feet away, the thing looks perfect, which is, as you know, the model for this channel, more or less. Alright. The centers are all done. Now I just do a wipe down on the outside. The spokes, the face of the spokes. And then last and also least, in between the circles, the windows. So I find that if you're not methodical, you will definitely miss. And if you have dust from sanding where you paint, it will definitely not adhere. So, you know, they say that preparation is 9/10 of the law. It's actually a combination of sayings, but you get my point. But if you're methodical, you probably won't miss anything. If you just go all kitty wampus just anywhere, you're likely to skip something. You ever notice when you wash your wheels and you think you got everything, you did a great job, and you weren't methodical about it? And you go drive and you park somewhere and then you look and you're like, oh, what the heck, I missed an entire spoke, maybe 2 spokes. Yeah, and then you realize you did that on every single same spoke that was facing a certain way on the entire car. Alright, so we're good on that. She's wiped down. And ideally, after primer, and then one final, I guess 600 or 800, right? Just to kind of smooth out the surface. That'll be our final wipe down. Then it'll be base clear. And literally what I did for that wheel, which now that I really look, I didn't file the edges. Like on these, I used a file to really smooth out the curving. I didn't use the palm sander on that one, which I can tell you right now, that center part, boom, I could have smoothed that out beautifully. So who knows? I may go back and do it, but it's kind counterintuitive now that the finish looks pretty damn good from 10 feet away. So I'll leave it alone. But that's just to show you how forgiving it is. If I showed you up close, you would see it's not perfect at all. So, all right. Well, what is it people do? Okay, no hyperlapse yet, but maybe it will. Anyway, I'm going to start off with a self-etching on, there's a lot of little spots that are bare metal, especially the outer lip and stuff like that, so self-etching kind of gives it a bite into that bare metal. I honestly don't know what would occur if you didn't do that. I'm going to assume rust isn't going to bubble through on it. Nice aluminum wheels, right? Don't overthink it. It's just paint, I think. A shout out to my buddy Brian at Paint Society. Although I have had my channel a very long time, I would say that the additional content lately has been at his push and behest and help with the projects we've taken on together. I appreciate that. Why not? Yeah. It's fun to document this stuff. So what I'm basically doing is just hitting anywhere that I sanded down to bare metal. And I'll come back over this with a little filler primer, right? The ironic part, let me see, can you see? The ironic part, it's like a grayish greenish. It's really kind of a cool color. There's a little weed if you ask me. Alright, outer edge. And these tires are a little mismatched, so it sits on it a little differently on the index cards. You know, for all of the rattle canning I've done in my life, I gotta say, I've actually never done the index card thing. I've always opted to, you know, touch up original finishes, just because I feel like you can turn one eyesore, tiny eyesore, or one tiny imperfection into something massive when you sand it down. But having done this now, I will say, there's a place in my heart for full refinish. Instead of just putting lipstick on a pig. Get yourself a new pig. Dead air. Everybody loves watching something and there not be any talking. Yeah, I guess I don't need to take you on the journey for all three of them, right? Guess I'll hyperlapse the, so this is the self-etching, and this is the filler sandable primer. So I'm going to leave it overnight to set up. I'm going to let this set up actually now. When it looks like it flashes off, I'll then throw on this on top of it. And then tomorrow morning, after it's had time to completely dry, I mean, it's cool out, but it's going to be the 60s. It's not cold by anyone else's standard, but Florida. So I'll lightly sand in the morning, boom, and then hit them with that silver wheel coating and finish it off with that engine enamel gloss clear, which I bought 2 more cans of, which are over there. Always better to have more than not enough. base coat on. Oh, super windy there. Oh, buddy. Yeah, these cards are great on a non-windy day, but alright. First coat, no coat yet. I like to go around the outer edge to make sure the outer lip has consistent color. And I do the spokes, inside outside spokes. And do inside the lug nut holes. Oh, I gotta run. A little too thick there. Luckily that run is running right into the hole, so. And then I come back and I do the window. I call this part the window. Primer is a good foundation for the silver too. This stuff lays on pretty forgivingly, if that's even a word. Okay, first coat, first coat, first coat. Finally, the end result. Bam! Bam! Perfect? Oh, absolutely not. Not bad? I think we could safely say that. And the final product? Let's check it out. Not too shabby. God, those wheels look good on that car.